insurance really has become the silent killer for so many people. Like I said, it's over doubled in the last 3 years. And in some states, they were projecting a 50 to 60% year-over-year growth rate. California was already one of those. The average new vehicle purchase price in 2024 was $48,405. And when you add that with that compounding growing insurance premium, it really does become unbearable for so many people. We are seeing the highest auto loan delinquency rates within the US since the 08-09 recession. 23% increase in repossessions just in 2024. Hey YouTube, Untamed here. Thanks to the California fires, auto insurance in the state of California just doubled. And well, nationwide, we just saw a pretty nice uptick because of it too. In today's video, I'm going to highlight some of the stats, facts, and figures surrounding that, why that's problematic for our current trajectory of the car market at large, and what this means for the economy as we move forward. So stick with me. Before talking through it, my heart goes out to everyone affected by the fires out there. Last I checked, there was over 45 square miles consumed, over 180,000 people displaced from their homes, tens of thousands of vehicles consumed by it, over 1,000 structures consumed by it, and really it's just getting worse by the moment. So my heart goes out to them, and a huge shout out to the firefighters risking their lives to help people out. Now, it goes without saying, but natural disasters are often unpredictable and completely devastating for families, which we're seeing out there in California right now. Which is why we have something called insurance, right? I mean, insurance is that safety net, that safety blanket offering that peace of mind if a natural disaster were to take place or any sort of incident that would cause damage to your vehicle, whether it's a collision, a fire, a hurricane, a flood, you name it. We have insurance to protect us financially if we need to deem it a total loss or have any damage take place. Now, I won't dig into this part of it in this video, but we did see a lot of insurers out in California drop fire from homeowners insurance in recent months. I'm seeing reports of over 72,000 plus families or houses that were actually dropped of their fire insurance. So I am interested to see how that pans out moving forward, as that was a very recent change in the state of California. An unfortunate truth of natural disasters is we often see bad actors come into play. And what I mean by that is we often will see people take advantage of the situation, whether it's looting or committing insurance fraud. And well, this circumstance out there in California is no different. We are seeing people looting stores and houses out there, and we're seeing people commit insurance fraud, to include auto insurance fraud, right? I mean, them placing their vehicles purposely in harm's way, in the fire's way, so, well, the fire will consume their vehicle and they'll have to deem it a total loss, right? And get a replacement vehicle. It is insurance fraud. And we're seeing people commit that right now, unfortunately. We saw it with the hurricanes that took place earlier in 2024, of course, and it's really nothing new. But when we see insurance premiums having over doubled in the last 3 years, that becomes problematic, not only for the people of California, but nationwide. It affects everyone. What a lot of people don't realize is we all pay into the insurance pot. Although this is only impacting California, people in Oklahoma, Minnesota, Missouri, they're all paying into that pot of money that is paying out these insurance claims that are ultimately going to take place here in the coming weeks and months, right? So we all pay the price a little bit. Of course, it remains highest in the most affected states. If your state is more susceptible to hurricanes or damage from hurricanes or tornadoes even, you're going to pay higher premiums for that. So ultimately, even though it's happening in a different place in the US, we're all pitching in for it. Now, the driving reason in insurance premiums going up recently is largely thanks to the cost of vehicles going up so much recently. Since 2019, we have seen an MSRP price hike of 42%. Vehicles cost 42% more than what they did in 2019, just 5-6 years ago. And because of that, well, it costs more money to pay for the vehicles, which means it costs more money to replace them and repair them. And what else did we see? Throughout the last few years and during the pandemic, we saw a lot of dealerships really take advantage of people, charging huge markups, ADMs, addendums over MSRP. People are paying $10,000, $15,000, or even more over a sticker, over MSRP during the pandemic in particular, right? Because of that, people were taking out these large inflated auto loans to pay for these vehicles. And well, if an accident took place and they needed to total up their vehicle and they had the necessary or proper insurance, like gap insurance, they paid it out. That was an even larger lump sum payout to replace that vehicle. We talked about it plenty on the channel, but it really is important to reiterate. I mean, the fact that the economy has been in shambles, right? The effects of inflation have been a huge pain point for most Americans when it comes to just keeping up with their rent, their mortgage payments, the cost of living when it comes to groceries, the cost of fuel, and now Insurance really has become the silent killer for so many people. Like I said, it's over doubled in the last 3 years. And in some states, they were projecting a 50 to 60% year over year growth rate. California was already one of those. This year they were projecting a 51% growth rate in their insurance. And now with the wildfires taking place out there, well, that really does beg the question, how much more than 51% growth are we going to see moving into 2025 here? I would wager it is going to double. It does make sense. According to an Insurify report recently published in the last quarter of 2024, California was among the top 3 insurance premium hikes that took place within the US. Minnesota and Missouri were both up there with California. The average new vehicle purchase price in 2024 was $48,405. And when you add that with that compounding growing insurance premium, it really does become unbearable for so many people. It becomes like you're just drowning consistently, right? That average payment for every auto loan out right now is $760 for every new vehicle purchase, $525 per month for every used vehicle purchase here in 2024. Heck, we've seen so many people flounder and ultimately repossess their vehicles, have their vehicles repossessed. 23% increase in repossessions just in 2024. That's quite staggering. It'll come as no shock to many of you, but we are seeing the highest auto loan delinquency rates within the US since the 08-09 recession. I'm talking the 30-day, 60-day, 90-day delinquency. People are just failing to make payments, which is why you're seeing that huge repossession growth rate. We continuously see these higher trimmed examples like the Ford F-150 Platinum, the Limited, these higher graded vehicles that have driven the price tags up substantially. It's not uncommon to go buy a vehicle that costs $80,000 to $100,000. And if you're trying to buy a heavy-duty pickup truck, well, expect to pay 6 figures if you're going to get a nicely trimmed one anyway. Especially when you consider the fact that interest rates on vehicle loans have not let up in the last 2 years. The national average right now is 7% on a new vehicle purchase and over 11% on a used vehicle purchase. In fact, 1 out of 6 auto loans out right now is currently over $1,000 per month. Over $1,000 per month, which is why we're also seeing 1 out of 5 auto loans being applied for in this last quarter were denied by banking institutions. Banks are clamping down because they know people can't keep up with these bills. So you tell me, what do you think we're going to see as the aftermath of these California fires? What do you think will be the detriment that affects you and I, everybody within the US? Let me know your thoughts. So I'll wrap up the video there. Auto insurance really has become the silent killer for so many people. We just cannot keep up with all these additional hikes, these price hikes that keep happening, which is why something has got to give. I do firmly believe we're heading toward a car market crash here in 2025. We're already seeing staggering growth rate of inventory levels across the board, across all vehicle manufacturers. Something has got to give, and I firmly believe something will give here this year. It's just a matter of how big that give will be. So if you appreciate this type of content, let me know in the comment section. As always, I sincerely appreciate you taking the time to tune into my videos. If you like it at all, please consider liking and subscribing. Your support means a lot, and it doesn't go unnoticed. Until next time.